Hey, is my sorry, is my live stream going? Oh, there it is. Oh, it's the wrong way. Sorry, one second. Technical difficulties here. Hey everyone, if you can hear me, I am trying to get this to go horizontal rather than vertical. Orientation is locked. What the heck? No, that didn't work. All right, well, this is a little annoying. It's going vertical, and I set it for horizontal. So I do apologize for that. So it looks like we're going to have to go. It's horizontal now? All right, let me know, multiple people. Is it horizontal or is it vertical right now? Because it's showing as vertical. No, it's my cell phone. And this is my first time ever streaming from the cell phone. All right. Orientation is locked. Is this horizontal? My horizontal or vertical? I am sorry. Because it's showing as vertical. Well, that is annoying. And I'm not seeing an option now. The option to switch from horizontal to vertical is gone. All right, well, I guess we're going vertical, which actually might be better because we'll be able to see a full page of the catalog that way. All right, one second. Sorry, I knew there would be technical difficulties, but I didn't know there'd be this many right off the bat. Almost there, hold on. What the heck? Now it's looking real narrow. What is going on here? All right, I guess that's going to have to do. Sorry about that. Yeah, I know it's vertical. It's narrow because it's vertical. What a pain in the butt. I was trying to get this to go horizontal so you could see, like, 2 pages of the catalog at once. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen. So, all right, well, this should work then. So, yeah, this is Christmas 1983, the 1983 Wish Book from Sears. And this one is the Midwest/East edition. So I would guess most of you are familiar with the Sears Wish Book, because I was born in 76, so in 83 I would have been 7 when this came out, which would have been like right at the time when I was looking for toys, especially, obviously. So I figured we'd look through it and just see what they had for sale and how expensive or not expensive it was. So, all right, and I'm trying to be able to see the chat here, but it's kind of blocked by my phone. So if I don't get to a question right away that's in the chat, I apologize, but I'm trying to look at the catalog and the chat, which is in front of me. So, but yeah, first of all, hey, we've got a Zaxxon mini arcade here. That is pretty cool. That I don't know if you can see it on your phones, if you can zoom in or something, but that was $54.99 back in 1983, and I was going to do like an inflation calculator. I forget what the change would be, but that's got to be like what, 3 times more expensive now. I think that's $54.99 is the equivalent of what, like $150 or something. If anybody can do the math, let me know. But that would be pretty expensive. And the funny thing is, nowadays, if you find one of these used, you know, like at a flea market or something, they're usually, in my experience, going to be like at least 100, 150, which is kind of what they cost back then if you take into account inflation. No, this was not my book from childhood. I definitely remember having this one back then, but yeah, I had to buy this, sadly. I was trying to find it cheap at a flea market or something like that, and I had to go on eBay. And I paid too much for it. They are expensive. If you search eBay for Sears Wish books, they're not cheap. I had to pay $38 for this catalog, and it's not mint by any stretch. But I really wanted to do this video, so yeah, $54.99 is $171 today. So can you believe that that little thing was $171? Which that doesn't make sense to me, because I remember when the NES came out, I think they were $99, right? Or maybe $199. So this was either more expensive than an NES or almost as expensive, which is crazy. Oh, and then over here, we got a Timex Sinclair 1000 computer, which I was not aware of these when I was a kid. This was $89. We always had a Commodore 64 when I was growing up, so I just wasn't aware of Timex Sinclair. All right, so I haven't gone through this yet, so I'm not sure what's on each page. But yeah, right away we got a ET clock, which was $39.99. That's expensive. Even today, I would think that's expensive for a clock like that. Yeah, NES was $199 at launch, so excuse me. Yeah, I can't believe how much that Zaxxon was. And also, I do apologize. I'm just getting over a cold, so I've got this lingering cough that pops up out of nowhere. So I'm loading up on cough drops right now, and hopefully it'll work. And if there's anything in here that you see that I don't stop at, just let me know. I'm gonna keep going until I find something that I think is interesting, which shouldn't be too long. Wow, that's quite the outfit. Vest and dress shirt, suede vest. What else we got here? Yeah, E.T. was big back then. So were Smurfs and Garfield, believe it or not, were huge. And we got some cars here. I think these are Matchbox. Now it just says 13-piece mini car set. So I guess they're just generic. But that was $9.99. So this was $9.99. That's a pretty good deal, I think. Yeah, the turtleneck is pretty nice too. I think I wore a turtleneck when I was a kid. Not all the time, but at some point. Let's see, what do we got here? Gifts under $5. They've got a Firebird. What is this supposed to be? Remote control Firebird. Only $4.99. I'll bet it. Yeah, I think it was one of those. Sorry, it was one of those. If you remember them, they were attached with a cord, so they weren't radio controlled. And I think they wouldn't go left and right. Like the wheels would only turn left or right, and to go different directions, you'd have to back up, which really stunk as a kid. I remember. All right, we're going to skip over most of the clothing here. Cheryl Teagues, I remember her. Oh, that's some pretty fancy workout equipment there, or workout gear. That is super 1980s. Yeah, I forget, when did they stop doing the Sears catalog? I could look it up, but my phone is doing the live stream right now, so I can't look at it. But I think they stopped doing it like at least 20 years ago or more. More clothing. This is very dated. This, I don't know what you'd call this. The woman's bow tie, whatever it was that you'd always see like business women wearing. Looks very out of date now. More clothing. Oh, wow. Look at those ruffles. The catalog stopped in 93? Geez, I thought it went longer than that. But I'll take your word for it. Yeah, those are crazy. More clothes. Oh, that's quite the look. That looks almost like from the 40s. More ruffles. Sears is technically still in business, believe it or not. But they've got, I know that they've closed a lot of stores recently. I think they're down to under 10, possibly. But they do technically exist. There's one somewhat close to me in Braintree, Massachusetts, which I do plan to take another look at, especially if and when they say they're going out of business, which is going to happen sooner rather than later. All right, let's get beyond the clothing, get to the good stuff. Clothing, clothing, clothing. Clothing. This is weird. This doesn't look, it's not the way I remember 80s clothing. This looks like 1940s type stuff. Lots of clothes. Jeez. Oh yeah, there's the Jane Fonda type workout gear. Watches. Ooh, oh wow. Cubert watch. And can't read what this one is. It's a Game & Watch. Isn't that Nintendo? Let's see. Help Cubert. Oh, that's saying it does. Help Cubert get from one cube of the pyramid to another. Blah, 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 blah. $29.99. And I guess this one is called Combat. And that's only $14.99. It's funny how a lot of this stuff I would think I would see at flea markets, but a lot of it I have not. Oh, and here's a Pac-Man watch. Pac-Man, $27.99. Excuse me. And what is this one? Oh, Frogger, $29.99. And Simon. So Simon Says, that would be... I've never seen Simon on a watch before. I guess you would play the game like... but I don't know if it would light up so you match the colors like the actual game or what. Oh yeah, these Game & Watches have to be pretty valuable now. I would bet. Some clocks. We got, okay, yeah, Garfield, E.T., Smurfs, Star Wars. Ooh, I would like that one. Never seen that one before. 27. May the Force be with you. It says, May the Force be with you. Not Force, but R2-D2 and C-3PO will wake you every morning. Okay. So you're not going to be awoken by the Force. You'll be awoken by R2 and 3PO. And that was $27.99. Strawberry Shortcake, Smurfs. Yeah, those were the big ones on Saturday morning TV. I remember the Saturday morning cartoons were the Smurfs, Garfield, not E.T. I think there was a Strawberry Shortcake cartoon too, which I probably didn't watch though because that was for girls. Oh, perfume. Don't care about perfume. Yeah, if you're awakened by the Force, you actually get thrown from the bed. You get force choked by the alarm clock. Electric razors, not interesting. Luggage. Boots. Boots. Don't care about boots. Oh, we got Garfield slippers and Snoopy slippers. How much were those? $12.99. Oh, now we have a whole Garfield section here. So, more Garfield slippers. Pac-Man, E.T., Snoopy slippers. Sesame Street. And these are all not expensive, like $6.99, $5.49. See, and then over here, this is all Garfield. These ones are, this one's $13.99, $16.99. Odie. Yeah, there's so far 3 pages of Garfield stuff. Garfield tracksuits, pajamas. And lunch bags. Garfield roller skates. Oh, and Garfield Viewmaster. Wonder if it just has Garfield reels or if it actually has like Garfield branding on the Viewmaster itself. Pretty cool. Geez, more Garfield. So we're now at 5 pages of Garfield. I remember Garfield being popular, but not that popular. Yeah, Garfield tracksuit. Garfield would not use a tracksuit because he was, of course, supposed to be lazy, right? Garfield bedspread or comforter. Hey, you can have a whole room just themed with Garfield. Yeah, I actually got a whole stack of Garfield books at a flea market recently, which I haven't posted the video yet. But I think it was either 1 through 9 or 1 through 13. I forget. Like it was a ton of them. And they were really cheap. I got a really good deal on them. And yet more Garfield. Garfield lunchbox. What did that cost? Let's see. $6.99. And these trash cans, I don't find these too often. Or whenever I see them at a flea market, they're always beat up. Like they've been kicked around and actually pulled out of the garbage. But that was $4.99. And now we're in the Smurf section. They must have had a deal with them to have this many items for sale, because that's not normal. Okay, so these are the pajamas. Backpack. More clothing. Yeah, the inflation is crazy when you think about it, because the prices don't look that bad. But then you take into account how much they would cost today. It's amazing how expensive things were back then. More Smurfs. Okay, wow. Oh, I think I used to have this way back. I think this came out before 83, because I remember having this when I was really young. And that was, how much did that cost? Wow, that was only $11.88 back then. They're calling it a Super Smurf piggyback rider. Yeah, I've seen these at flea markets, but usually they are in horrible condition. Like all the paint has started to flake off and stuff. But yeah, if I found one of those in good condition for a good price, I would pick one up. Smurf playset. And more Smurfs. Oh, remember these punching bag things? What do they call these? Oh, a bop bag. $4.49. Now, these are those. Oh gosh, excuse me. These are those little Smurf figures that I've been looking for recently at flea markets, and they're expensive. So these are those little tiny ones. They're like this big, and they are $4.99 each. That is expensive, because usually if I see one of those for $5 at a flea market, I think that's too much. I would pay $2 or $3 a piece for those. But yeah, they were $5 back then. More Smurfs. Smurf toothbrush set. Electric. Oh, Smurf talking toothbrush. He sings about brushing every day. Wow, that would be interesting. $14.99. And let's see. Watch. More lunch boxes. And notice that they are plastic. I thought in 83 most lunch boxes were metal still at that point. I didn't think they switched over to plastic until like the mid to late 80s. That's my recollection, but apparently I'm wrong. All right, I don't know what Mandy is. That's not for me. Oh, sleeping bags now. These are pretty cool. Got, of course, Smurf, Barbie. I don't know what that is. Yeah, does anybody know what that is? I can't read it. What does it say? Oh, Shirt Tails? Shirt Tails. I do not remember Shirt Tails. Poochie, I vaguely remember. Care Bears, of course, I remember. And these are $21.99 each. Garfield, Sesame Street, Atari, that one's pretty cool. Yeah, I think these are more sleeping bags. Strawberry Shortcake, Benji, Peanut Butter and Jelly? I don't remember that at all. Winnie the Pooh, Hot Wheels. Geez, lots of sleeping bags. Masters of the Universe. Now these are cool. Return of the Jedi, Knight Rider. These were definitely like three of my favorite things back in '83, for sure. Superman, Wonder Woman, G.I. Joe. Let's go four-wheeling. Okay, that's pretty generic. All right. So, here we go. Star Wars, Return of the Jedi. I think I had this Jabba playset. And how much was that? So back then, that was only $11.99. So that's not bad. More playsets. And then the actual ships. This was what I would be most interested in. The AT-ST, speeder bike, Y-Wing, TIE Fighter. And these all cost $14.99, $19.99. It's like 15 to 20 bucks back then, which today, what was it like? Was it like 4 times more expensive now? And then all the characters here, all the figures. Those figures were, oh, these are 3-pack. So you got a 3-pack each, and those were $7.99 each. Nowadays, if you want to get like a new Star Wars figure, like a single one, I think they're at least 10 bucks a piece, or sometimes more for the really fancy schmancy ones. Well, and Star Wars, I guess, sweatshirt, sweatpants, sweatsuit. And what is this? A book? Book and tape. Or you could get either an LP or a cassette, and that was $7.99. I've never seen one of these at a flea market. But I have seen this lunchbox. I had this one when I was a kid. And I saw it at a flea market not too long ago. I think it was Stormville, and the guy was asking, I think, $90, $95, something like that. And back then it was $6.99. Yeah, the price on that has gone up a bit. And I have these books here. This Return of the Jedi book, and there was one for Star Wars and also for Empire Strikes Back. And let's see, those were $6.95 back then. You can usually find them for less than that now. So just to check in, how's the stream? Is everything looking clear? Is the volume okay? Is anybody still there? Suddenly the chat has stopped completely. There hasn't been a single message since 7:22. Can anybody verify that you're actually seeing the stream? Okay, I'm going to check something for 1 second. All right, can somebody just post something in the chat just so I know it's still active? All right, 1 second. Oh, that is weird. So something happened with my chat where it stopped at 7:22 with the with the comment about can't wait to see the handheld video games. And then there was nothing after that. So I haven't seen any comments for the last 8 minutes. I had to refresh the chat. So I apologize. I probably missed a bunch of comments because my chat froze up. All right, let me just look through the chat real quick here. See if there's anything I missed. Well, I missed a bunch. Let's see. Yeah, Mike, you asked Tom, which one do you have? And I'm not sure what thing you're talking about, because I missed it when the comment came up. All right, cool. All right, well, I'll keep going then. Yeah, that was weird. It's just like for 8 minutes, nobody was talking. Or at least it didn't look like it. This is really cool. This is I guess it's I wouldn't say it's not a wastebasket, but what'd you call it? A hamper or just something to put your toys in? I saw one of these at Brimfield last year, but it was in horrible condition. Like it's made out of that fiberboard stuff. So the one at Brimfield, the fiberboard had started to warp from being wet. But I would love one of these. That is so cool. And what did that cost? That was $24.99. Oh, more of these waste baskets. I would love to have one of these in good condition. But like I said, they're usually beat up and really expensive when I find them. Wow, cool. Return of the Jedi chairs and table. And a whole, what is this? Like a whole Return of the Jedi bookcase. I don't know what you'd call this, like a hutch or a bookcase of some sort. Never seen one of those. Any rumors on Crystal Mall? Just the rumors that it's not doing well. Apparently more and more stuff is closing. More stores. I'll probably do another video there and then probably sometime this month, maybe. Not sure. I did go to Enfield Square Mall yesterday, and I did a quick video there, but they really have security is out in full force there now. There didn't used to be security there for like the last few years, and now in the last year, there's some guy walking the hallway constantly. So it's a little bit hard to film there now. I think I had a gosh, sorry about the cough. I think I had a bedspread like this when I was a kid. Pretty sure. All right, here's the yeah, we're not gonna go into this too much because back in '83, I was not watching Care Bears. I'm not watching Care Bears now either, but I appreciate Care Bears for the nostalgia, but you know, as a boy in 1983, I would not have been interested in this whatsoever. Yeah, lots of Care Bear stuff. Naugatuck Mall. What is Naugatuck Mall? In Connecticut? Or is it a mall in Naugatuck? Because I don't know of any malls called Naugatuck Mall. More Care Bears. And then Strawberry Shortcake. Another thing I would not have been interested in. All right, now we're in baby clothes, so we're going to move away from here. What mall has my favorite fountain? Well, there's not that many to choose from, to be honest with you, in my area. Probably Plymouth Meeting Mall has the best fountain I've seen. Try and read some of the comments here. Have you ever been to the flea market in Plainville? Do you mean the indoor one? If so, yes. I went there once and I didn't feel comfortable filming there. It was such tight quarters that it just, I don't know, it just felt like everybody was staring at me. So I didn't end up filming. Picture too small. Yeah, I don't know. The only other way to make them bigger would be to like have the camera like right on the page, and then that wouldn't work because I have the camera hanging from a I don't know, something. It's hanging from something, and so I can have my hands free. And if I was holding it, my hands would just be shaking, and you'd see like shaky pictures. So yeah, sorry it's not bigger, but it's the best I could do. More clothing here. Now that kid looks like Punky Brewster. Remember Punky Brewster? That was a good show. Niagara Falls Mall. I will get up to Niagara Falls eventually, but I need a passport. That's the problem. And I just haven't gone through the process of getting one. Because if I go up that direction, I want to go across the border into Canada because they have a couple malls there, of course, and then they've also got a old school Toys R Us. Yeah, also looks like a Small Wonder too. That was the creepiest show ever. I didn't like that as a kid. The actors were bad, like cringy bad, and just the whole idea of it was just really creepy. All right, more clothing. All right, we're not looking at the underwear. Stream just went down. Can anybody confirm? Did it go down? That's a very 80s outfit there. That's how we all dressed in elementary school, I remember. Oh, here's some cool shirts. Got Mr. T, Cubert, Garfield, Return of the Jedi. I definitely would have been into the Return of the Jedi one. See if I can get it closer. These almost look like those members only jackets. Remember those? Remember that was a big deal. Like, oh, he's got a members only jacket. But in reality, they weren't fancy at all. Okay, more cool shirts. Another Cubert. I don't remember Cubert being that popular back then, but I guess he... Whoop, just hit the camera. I don't remember him being that popular, but I guess he was. Knight Rider, A-Team. Yeah, I watched all these shows. Except for Cubert. I don't think... Maybe... Did Cubert have a Saturday morning cartoon? Might have. Return of the Jedi. What is this? It's like a... Almost looks like a bathrobe. A Return of the Jedi bathrobe with the Ewoks on it. No, I'm not interested in nightgowns. Or these isotoner gloves. They still sell isotoner gloves. I remember back in the 80s and 90s, it was like a big deal. It'd be like, hey, for Christmas, I'm going to get somebody some isotoner gloves. And I think they looked like, kind of like these, I think. These are just listed as unlined cowhide gloves. Suits, not interested. Yeah, the models, their poses are really, I mean, they look like mannequins, basically. Lots of clothes. Tool sets. These are pretty much the same nowadays. Oh, here's the table of contents, I guess. When you can apply for a Sears credit card. I never had a Sears credit card. Does Sears still have credit cards? I don't know. I would imagine if you've had a card with Sears, you can. It probably still works, but I mean, if you don't have a Sears credit card now, I don't know why anybody would go out and get one. Slow down. Yeah, I was actually just going past the like the clothing and suits, which I don't know if anybody's really that interested in it. Oh, tools. All right, I'll take a quick look at the tools. Let's see. Let me find them again. I don't think there were a lot. Yeah, this is all there were for tools so far. Was this a saw of some sort? I don't know. I don't know tools at all, so I couldn't tell you what I'm looking at here. Then just some wrenches. So these were $149.99. This was $189, $15.99, $10.99. Then some fancy schmancy Craftsman 8-piece screwdriver set. Does anybody still have these cordless vacs like this? In my experience, they never worked very well. Very poor suction, and they would run out of juice like after a few minutes. Yeah, Dustbuster. Well, this isn't a Dustbuster brand, but same idea. All right, there's the credit card thing. Giant buckets of popcorn. I used to love those as a kid. We used to, excuse me, we used to get those from my grandmother as a Christmas present. Oh, wow. A whole selection of fruitcakes. I don't think you'd see a whole selection of fruitcakes for sale nowadays. Could be wrong, but how much was the fruitcake? It was $12.99. wrapping paper. I don't think anybody wants to see that. Christmas ornaments. Meh, not interested. Christmas trees. Fake Christmas trees. We always had real Christmas trees. I never had a artificial tree. And that one there is $169.99, which would be what, like $300 now? You still have the 83 fruitcake? Is it still factory sealed? It loses half its value if you open it, you know. Yeah, $12.99 and 83 is $41. That's expensive. I would not pay $41 for a fruitcake. Not at all. These blow mold things, you see these at flea markets now. People are charging like $150, $200, $300 for these. And back then they were $49.99, $39, $69. So they weren't cheap back then, but I would never pay what they're asking at a lot of flea markets for those, up over, over $100 a piece. And this one here, I think, let's see, how big is that one? Yeah, he's 5 feet tall. So I don't think I've seen that exact Santa at a flea market, but I've seen a lot similar ones. And those are the ones where people are asking like $300. Did Sears have a candy counter? I don't personally remember one, but they might have. I think my mom told me that they did, but I think that might have been before my time. Yeah, hey everybody that's tuning in late. If you want to go back, you can rewind the live stream. Excuse me, darn cough. Yeah, so I have a cough, and I'm trying to fight it here with cough drops, but it's not working entirely. Okay. Yeah, so if you missed anything in the stream, you can either rewind this stream or just wait for the replay, which should be up tomorrow sometime. Get a Santa suit here. How much is that? Not seeing the Santa suit price. Oh well. There's a whole bunch of different Santa suits you can choose from over here. This is the premium suit, which is $165. And then this is the better suit, which is $99. This is the good suit. It says it's $59. And this is the low price suit, which is $39. This looks like the comforter that like a vampire would have, or something you'd have in a coffin. That horrible, disgusting material. That looks terrible. Tequila for the cough? No, just water and Hall's cough drops. Which works pretty well. Then all of a sudden the cough will come out of nowhere. I remember, I think my grandmother had a chair like this with this horrible cushion. And it was on a rocking chair too. Beanbags. I don't think I've seen beanbags for sale recently. What did those cost? Those are $37.99. Glassware, not interested. Wall clocks. I know we had a couple clocks that looked basically like this. I think those were pretty standard back then. Sears last had a catalog in 2011, but they brought it back in 2017. I'd like to see that. And the crazy thing is this gigantic catalog, which is 611 pages, they would send this out in the mail for free. You just got these. So imagine how much these cost to ship. And then you got to imagine they must have been making so much money back then that the cost to send something like this didn't matter. And that's almost certainly one of the reasons they stopped sending these out, because I'm sure it was costing millions and millions of dollars, which they don't have. And now I would bet pretty much all of you have had an alarm clock that looks basically like this. It's like a little wood grain one, and it's got the red LED. I actually still have one. It's the same one I've had since I was a kid, and it works fine. That was $30 back in 1983. Cookware, not interested. Silverware, mixers. Oh, here we got some major appliances. This refrigerator was $4.99. So what is that now? That's like what, $2,000 or something? And that is a, what brand is that? Not seeing, oh, it's a Kenmore. Okay, so you're saying $4.99 today would be $1,500? If that's correct, that would be an expensive refrigerator, right? I haven't bought a refrigerator recently, but I don't think they're that expensive unless you get, like the real fancy ones. But I think something like this, I don't think it would be that expensive. Yeah, the fridge probably does still work. Oh, the microwave. Other than, the basic appearance of these, they're pretty much the same thing nowadays. But geez, look at the price of that. $570 back in 1983. So that, I'm guessing that's going to be like $1,500 or more for a microwave. Nowadays, this would be maybe $200 max at Walmart. Yeah, that is crazy how expensive that is. Even these cheaper microwaves, $239, $199. So that's going to be what, like $600 today? Yeah, so lots of the appliances have come down in price. And computers too. Like a computer back then would be like $5,000. Today it's like $500 or $1,000. Vacuums, $247 today, or back then. I think if I went to Walmart right now, that would it might be the same price. It might be $247 today, but you take into account inflation. It's technically much cheaper now than it was then, probably because it's made in China. Oh, a typewriter. $150. Yeah, not too interesting. It's not the best typewriter. If it were like an IBM Selectric or something, that would be interesting. Now, I had heard that these telephones, you couldn't buy them, that the phone company gave them out to you, but very clearly, they are selling this phone, and this looks like a Western Electric 500, which is the standard phone that pretty much everybody had back then. And they're asking, let's see, $62 for this. And you could get it in ivory, white, green, black, or yellow. We had a yellow one, I remember. And I'm still looking for a blue one. I would really like to find a blue one for sale. Actually, well, I did see a blue one of these at Brimfield, but the guy was asking over $100 for it. Oh, so here, yeah, here's the blue one. I would love to get a blue one like that. Oh, here's something I see at pretty much every flea market. The Mickey Mouse phone. And this is the rotary one. I would like a yeah, excuse me. I would like a rotary one like this, but they also came in touch tone like this one here. And how much did they cost? Let's see. Mickey Mouse telephone, $150. But only $140 if you go with the rotary. So the touch tone was $10 more. And same for the Kermit the Frog one, that was $150. I've never seen a Kermit the Frog one, but I've seen this Mickey one hundreds of times. Some boring telephones. Oh, okay, so now we got the computers. So at the time, I was not aware of these. This is an Atari 800 XL. I only learned about these, fairly recently, like within the last 10 years. All I knew about was the Commodore 64, and then like the IBM type computers. But this one was $250 back then. Let's see what games they got down here. And the games were not cheap. The games were $34.99, $39. And in today's money, that would be, I'm just doing this in my head. I'm doing like, what, 3 times? So that would be like, almost $100, right? 100 or more for a game. Then we got a TI-99 computer. I have a couple of these in the box in my closet, which I'll show you guys if I get to 40,000 subscribers and I can do a video on the Nerd Cave, and I would be able to show you these. They don't work, though, as far as I know. They're just in their box. And I've actually never used a TI-99 computer. All right, what we got here? Oh, and here's one of those Timex Sinclair computers. Those were, from what I've heard, they were pretty bad. Really, really bad, especially in comparison like to a Commodore 64, things like that. Ooh, now we got the TVs. Yeah, you remember back then everything was wood grain. All these big old console TVs. We actually had a, I think it was a 32-inch Mitsubishi TV that had a cabinet like this. But yeah, you don't see these at all anymore. They don't make anything like these, which makes sense with LCD TVs. It wouldn't make sense to enclose them in wood. But yeah, this TV was $800 back then, which would be very expensive today. Oh, and then this is interesting. This is a projection TV, but this is not a rear projection TV. If you remember rear projection TVs, they were those big, I don't know how to describe them. They had basically the projector was in the back of the TV, so they were really thick. But this one actually has the projector out front, and I'm guessing it's reflecting off a mirror maybe and hitting the screen that way. I don't think I've ever seen one of those in person. And that was $16.95. So somebody can do the inflation calculator on that. $16.95 back in 1983. That's got to be, geez, what, $4,000 or something? Crazy. Oh, and then this is a video disc player. don't know if you can see that. See if I can zoom in here. Waiting for the stream to catch up to my picture. Yeah, so this is a Sears stereo video disc player, which I don't think that's, it's not laser disc. Oh yeah, it's a CED, which you'll see these, they come in a cartridge. It's really weird. It looks like a vinyl record, but it's in a plastic sleeve, and you put the whole sleeve in the player, and then the disc comes out from this case, and then you pull the case out, and the disc stays in the machine and plays. And I've never seen one in operation. I see the discs for sale at flea markets all the time, but I've never seen an actual player for sale. Yeah, a lot of times you'll see the discs, they're blue. Excuse me, I think they're blue, unless that's a different standard. But I see the blue ones all the time at flea markets. And if I bought one, it would just be for decoration. Because again, you're probably not going to find a working player. And I have heard that the discs tend to rot. So if you look at the discs, they just look like they're being eaten away from the inside out. And we've got more TVs. All of them in the the wooden console TVs. These are they didn't really advertise the brand too much here. Like nowadays they would say like, LG or Samsung, and these I don't see the brand. That's weird. Wonder if they're like store brand. Now this would have been a fancy TV back then. Very fancy. It would look futuristic, I would say. And this is so they're calling this a square view 20-inch. So this is only a 20-inch TV. It looked bigger than that in the picture. And once again, I don't see a brand name on it. That is weird. And I don't see a brand on here either. Yeah, it must be Sears house brand. But I didn't know there were house brand Sears TVs. Yeah, now this is their cheapest TV. This one is only $439. It's a 19-inch color TV. And we had something like this, I remember, probably back in the early 80s. And I remember we had this for a while, and it was, of course, tiny. And then I think we went with a 27-inch, which I remember thinking it looked enormous. And then we finally went with the 32-inch, which we had for quite a few years. It's funny how expensive these little TVs were. $380. Gosh, sorry about the cough. $389 for a 19-inch TV. What is this? Looks like a VCR of some sort. Oh, okay, this is a VHS VCR. How much was that? Oh my God. $840 for this. So in today's money, that's what? Over $2,000 or more? $3,000? And I remember when my grandmother first got a VCR, it was such a big deal. They had to have a guy from probably Sears or Kmart, one or the other, had to actually come to the house and install it for them. So you needed like a professional to install it. And then I remember to program it, I think you took this little cover off here, and there were little dip switches all over it, which you had to flick, the switch a certain way for it to be like Tuesday, a certain time. It was really a pain to program. Yeah, $2,600 for a VCR today. That would be insane. But yeah, when I'm out at like Goodwill and flea markets again, whenever you see a VCR, you usually don't see ones that are this old. This style, like the top loaders, usually you see the ones from the 90s and 2000s, early 2000s, which are usually more likely to work than one like this would be. And then this is what is this? I guess, well, it's a camcorder. Doesn't say what type. And that cost $790. So the camcorder costs less than the VCR. Yeah, and this is that type of VCR I'm talking about. This looks more like the one my grandmother had. Oh, no, this is a beta. Yeah. Who out there remembers Betamax? I remember we would go to, you'd have movie stores back then, movie rental stores, and they always had the beta section up until, I think, the mid 80s. And I remember it was just like, oh, that's weird. What are those beta tapes? We would go to the VHS section. Then if you saw somebody in the beta section, you'd be like, wow, that's weird. That didn't last too long, though. And I very rarely run into beta tapes at flea markets. I have found a couple, like literally a couple, but they're pretty hard to find. Wow, compact disc in 1983? That must have been the first year they were out. I thought they came out in 85. Or was it 82? So they would have been pretty much brand new at this point. $590 for the CD player. Yes, I do remember when VHS tapes cost like $99 because they were mostly for the rental stores. I think it was Terminator 2 when that came out on VHS in 1991. I remember seeing it at Blockbuster behind the cover. Or behind the counter. They were selling it for, I think, yeah, $100 or $200. It was something crazy. But that didn't last long either. And we got some cassette decks here. Those are priced a bit more reasonably. This is $99, $69. This one is $150. So yeah, so compared to the VCRs and CD players, cassettes were much cheaper. Oh, remember these all-in-one systems? I think my grandmother, again, had one just like, well, not just like this, but very similar. I think hers was an RCA, though. And again, I'm not seeing a brand on this. It says LXI, so maybe LXI is the brand? Oh, and a boombox. I guess you'd consider this a boombox. Or maybe not. There's no handle on the top. They're calling this the Marvelous Mini. It's only $199. Yeah, and a record player, $59. I doubt any of this is very high quality equipment. More of these all-in-one systems. All right, so now I would call these boom boxes because they have the handle. These were not the best boom boxes. These would be the cheap boom boxes you would get at Sears, obviously. What are the prices? $99. Yeah. More boom boxes. All right, so we got Walkman ripoffs. Not actual Sony Walkmans, but close. Yeah, and I remember as a kid looking to get. I always wanted a Sony Walkman, and I remember we didn't get one. We got one of these. I don't remember what it was, but it was one of these generic type ones. So $49, $39, $29. And then these were just the radio, no cassette player. I have thought about buying a record player and getting records, but never got around to it. Maybe someday. Little handheld tape recorders here. More of these alarm clocks. If you go to at least you go to the Goodwill as I do, you'll see like 5 of these pretty much any time you go. They are all over the place. Yeah, the boombox would take like 8 batteries, 8D batteries usually, or C, and I don't think they would last very long on the battery. So that was expensive to use batteries back then. Crazy. Oh, they got a bunch of police scanners. These are Bearcat, which I do recognize that name Bearcat, so I think that is a name brand. Ooh, Casio keyboards. Pretty sure I had something like this when I was a kid, but I think it might have been white. This was $140, it looks like. No, this one is 140. This one is 180. Not cheap. Some big old organs. Guitars. Yeah, CBs. I had a CB in like the mid 90s when I was in college. I thought it was cool for some reason. So I got a CB radio, and I got one of those big whip antennas to put on the trunk with like a huge magnet. The magnet was so strong it discolored the paint, believe it or not. And even back in the mid 90s, there were not a lot of people on the CB, at least not in my area. So it was kind of a waste, but I don't know. For some reason, I just thought it was cool to have a CB in the car. Oh, you could get a hamburger radio or a hot dog radio and a Budweiser and a Pepsi radio. Those were all $5.99 each. What does it say what that was right of the banjo? Banjo. Oh, that's a violin. It says play country or classical on this full 4x4/4, whatever that means, size violin. It's a 1982 Western Specialog, $89. What was my handle? I don't think I had a handle. I didn't know anything about it, so I didn't have an actual handle. I would just go, radio check. Oh, books on tape. No, the price next to... All right, what are you saying here? How much was the banjo? The banjo is $59.95, if that's what you're asking. Oh yeah, you can get the Bible on tape. You get the Bible and the Bible on tape. Well, now we got a camera equipment here. These are, where is it? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's $219 for a Pentax K1000. It's hard to read this thing here. Oh, this is a Sears KS500, so a Sears brand camera. Canon AE1, $399. So that's the most expensive camera. Another Sears brand camera. Is your name Tom? Yes, my name is Tom. Excuse me. Silent camera. Who would want to buy a silent 8mm camera in 1983? Then a Super 8 sound movie camera. And those are $150, 100 or $200 here. Oh, and you could mail order weapons. That's fun. Or is it just the cabinet? No, you could buy a shotgun too. I don't know if you can still mail order a shotgun. I honestly don't know. Seems like you probably shouldn't be able to do that, but who knows? And this is, what is this? A single shot rifle that uses ball ammunition. What is this, the 1800s? Yeah, Sears did used to sell houses. I don't know when they stopped doing that, but it was quite a long time ago. Life jackets. Metal detectors. That's a pretty fancy metal detector, $300 there. The only metal detector I ever had was the cheapo ones they would sell at Radio Shack. Excuse me. Or at least I only got the cheapo one. And it wasn't anywhere near that price. Pool tables. $600. Golf clubs. Remember these? I've only seen these in like TV shows and movies. These gravity exercises where they hang you upside down. Oh, I had a rowing machine like this. The cheap kind that just had the pistons rather than the flywheel thing. So I guess this is what they considered a treadmill back then, which I guess it is electric. Calling it a walking, jogging exerciser. $250, has a curved surface. Yeah, that doesn't look very sturdy to me. Weight equipment. Oh, more guns. Probably shouldn't look at the guns too much. It might upset YouTube. Dartboards. Comment says, I'd love to start collecting, excuse me, I'd love to start collecting uranium ware. Is that the one that reacts with blacklight? Yes. So if you see the green glass, that's uranium glass or uranium ware, also known as Vaseline ware, but I think the Vaseline ware is technically the more yellow colored version. But yeah, if you have a black light, it'll light up bright green under the black light. Excuse me. And then talking about uranium, somebody, you know how I collect the Fiesta ware, the radioactive ceramic ware, which is like usually orange. Some people seem confused about why I collect that. I collect that because I think the radiation aspect of it is fascinating. And somebody left a comment on one of my videos recently. They were like, why do you check everything for radiation? Do you have a problem with radiation in your area? As if there were like a nuclear war in my area and I have to check everything like Mad Max. That's not why, it's not why I do it. I'm actually looking for radiation. I'm not looking to avoid it, believe it or not. Bicycles. I got some BMX bikes here. Or BMX style bikes. I remember I had I think it was called a Kabuki brand, which I'm pretty sure was some off-brand bike, but it looked something like this. And now these bikes here, these look, if I saw these at a flea market, I would say these were from the 70s. With the, the long handlebars like this and the banana seat. I would never have thought early 80s. At least not 83, maybe 1980. But I guess I was wrong. Swing sets. I definitely know we had something similar to that when I was a kid. We had one like this, and then we had one like this earlier. That's a cool bike. It looks like a dirt bike almost, like a motorcycle. Yeah, back then those microwaves and VCRs and CD players were ridiculously expensive. And nowadays they're super cheap. Ice skates. Were these like chemistry sets, it looks like? No, it's like an art set. Oops. Looked like a chemistry set. I guess it's paint. What is this? Disneyland playset. Never seen one of those before. That, I would bet you that would go for quite a bit at a flea market. Or on eBay. But it was only 1990 or 1988 at the time. Bunch of stuffed animals. Woody Woodpecker, Winnie the Pooh. Don't know who this is. Who's this? 13. Just called Activity Doll. Don't know what that is. Tigger. And then I think these are just generic. Oh, it's Poochie. Who's number 7 is Poochie. So that's Poochie. I remember the name Poochie. Didn't they have a character like Poochie on The Simpsons? Was it Poochie or something like that? I'm pretty sure they made fun of Poochie. And this is Cute and Curly Clown Doll. Not a fan of clown dolls. All right, so now we got the baby toys. Oh, remember these? What is this, a glowworm? Yeah, I think my sister had a glowworm when she was a kid. She's like 7, 8 years younger than me. So she would, well, she wasn't born yet. But yeah, I'm pretty sure she had a glowworm. Which is kind of gross when you think about it. A toy that's a worm. Fisher Price toys. Yeah, you see these play sets occasionally. Oh, now this one, this airplane here, I actually do want to get one of these because I know I had one when I was a kid. And it was $7.88 there. I think they had a whole, yeah, I know there was a whole airplane or airport playset for these. But usually the ones I find are in pretty poor condition. And this, I actually got one of these recently at a flea market. I think I got it, geez, I can't remember which flea market it was yet. I don't think I've posted the video on this one yet. A Fisher Price School Days desk. And it has these little magnetic numbers and letters. And I got that because, again, I had one just like that when I was a kid. I think I had this too, this little record player. Fisher Price record player. Because it had those big fake plastic records. It was more like a music box, I think. It would have that, like, that metal, I don't know what you call it, like the metal, it would be like little metal spines that were clicking across the, like a music box, that type of thing. Oh, the popcorn vacuum. I remember that because it was annoying. You'd push along and it'd go pop, 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 and it would knock those marbles around. Seen this one a few times at a couple flea. Oh man, this cough, jeez. I've seen this one a few times at a few flea markets. Oh, and this phone, you see this all the time. Chatterbox pull phone is what it's called. That's $5.99. Don't recognize these. I definitely remember this. This is one of those lenticular things. It was, I think if you move this crank, the picture would go from side to side. And it would kind of look like a movie, but it wasn't. That was $6.99. Rescue Center. Yeah, I don't remember these. I would have been too old for these when I was back in '83. I would have been 7, so these would have been for the little kids. So I wouldn't have seen these, I don't think. I remember I definitely had something similar to this little playset where you have the, the steering wheel and you could shift and everything. And I think that was probably a horn. It would be like a little squeak toy. It'd sound like a dog toy, basically. And an Etch-a-Sketch. Of course, they still make those today, so that's not very special. Oh, what is this? I remember this. What is this called? Skadoodle. I remember seeing that. I don't remember that name, Skadoodle. And is this a Light Bright? Yeah, this is Light Bright. I had a Light Bright. Remember, it was like a piece of black construction paper you'd put on here, and then you'd poke these little plastic pieces through it, and then there would be a light behind it, which would light them up. How much was Light Bright? $12.99. Yeah, Crayola Caddy. I don't think I ever had one like that. Okay, just some wood blocks. Not too exciting. I think we had something like this. Somebody had one of these tubes. What did you call this? This was a fold-away play tunnel. So this is a toy typewriter for kids. And toy cash register. And what is that? Okay, so I guess these are both toy cash registers. Oh, now who can forget these? What do they call them? See and Say. Remember, you'd pull the string and it'd be like a cow goes moo, etc. Stuff like that. Pretty sure everybody had one of those. Never seen that before. That's kind of neat. That phone. It says Sears. Sears Answer Me phone. Playmobil. Yeah, they have. I never played with Playmobil as a kid, and recently they came out with some sets that I thought were kind of neat because they were like, they were kind of like intended for adults, but or kids at heart, whatever you want to call them. But I don't like. They're weird. They're like in between Lego and something that's fully assembled. So when you get it, like there's very limited assembly, so it's not like Lego in that way. But they make you put on the stickers yourself, and I don't know. It's just I don't get the point of them. It's like if I would either want a Lego where I have to put the whole thing together, or I just want it completely together and I don't want to put anything myself together. So I don't know. I don't get it. Now this is cool. Battery-powered three-wheeler. I remember we had something like that. It wasn't an ATV, but we had one of those battery-powered things. And I remember the batteries would not last long at all. But I've seen some kid where I live riding around with his parents on something similar to this, and he goes around the whole block with no power. So the batteries must be much better today than they were back then. Yeah, we had probably something closer to this. And I remember it would have been around 83 in that basic time frame, where I remember I went to a car dealership with my dad, and they actually were selling little gas-powered cars that looked like this. They were this size, but they were gas-powered. And I remember always wanting one of those, but of course I never got one. Now that's real cool. The Probe 6 all-terrain vehicle. $129. Never seen one of those. What do we got here? It's baby toys. I think they made these forever. Were these Little Tykes? Is that what they were called? Or I think Little Tykes. Is that right? Yeah, I'm not seeing the name on here, but I think that says Little Tykes. But yeah, they made these forever and ever. I'm sure we had a slide like this at my house. It was probably my sister's. More of those electric cars. Yeah, remember three-wheeled motorcycles? Three-wheel ATVs? Then they had to stop making them because they would tip over and people would get injured. Oh, and then we got some big wheels. They're calling these Spin Rider cycles. Spin Rider. I don't remember that name, Spin Rider. Those were only $17 or $20. It's kind of cheap. Oh, Speak and Spell. I would like to get an original Speak and Spell, but usually the ones I see at the flea markets are the newer type, because the newer type has like a flat keyboard, whereas the old ones are actually like little buttons that stick up, and I haven't seen too many of those for sale. Yeah, the green machine, that sounds familiar. But I think I had one that was actually a brand name. I think it was Big Wheel, quote unquote Big Wheel. I think that was the brand name on it. And I think we always called them Big Wheels, even if they weren't. Oh, Little Professor Calculator. I actually got one of these at Brimfield last year, or maybe this year. Hard to remember. Sometime earlier this year, I got a Little Professor Calculator. I'm not sure if it's that exact one, though. The one I got might have been older, possibly. And we got some Lincoln Logs and Tinker Toys. Those, my recollection, and Erector sets, these were going out of popularity. These always were, to me, like these were things kids would play with like in the 50s, 60s. Yeah, by the time I was a kid, these were not cool anymore, I don't think. People were much more into Lego. And we got Lego Duplo. I think Duplo are the little kid version of Lego. See how much the Lego sets are, because I know nowadays Legos are ridiculously expensive. Let's see. Well, this one was $27 over here, which isn't cheap. Oh, but then these are the Expert Builder sets. So what did that cost? That was $25. Not bad. And then they got more over here. These are $20. Not bad. I think it's when you start getting into the ones that are like branded like with Star Wars, like movie properties, like intellectual properties, they start charging a ton of money. Looks like these are all Snoopy. Sorry. These are all Snoopy related things. Snoopy toothbrush. I'm guessing that's an electric toothbrush. Yep, Snoopy electric toothbrush. $9.99. Yeah, the Lego Dragster, that was cool. I remember when I was a kid, my parents got me one of those advanced sets, or maybe it was my uncle. I think my uncle got me one of those advanced Lego sets. And as like a 7, 8, 9-year-old, we couldn't figure it out. It was way too complex. Oh, these toy horses. I remember my neighbors, we had some neighbors that were girls, and I remember I would see these horse toys all over the place. Just generic horses, not like what was it? My Little Pony. Let's see, is this Barbie? No, this is not Barbie. This is Lovely Lindsay. So it's a rip-off Barbie. Okay, yeah, that's Lovely Lindsay and that's Craig. And then more, I think this is more Lovely Lindsay. Or this just says traditional bride and groom set. Oh, but then these are actual Barbies here. I think they were trying to fool kids into thinking these were actually Barbies. Yeah, He-Man is coming up, I think. And sadly, there were no Transformers because this was 83, and I guess Transformers didn't come out until 84. So there are no Transformers. Big Barbie playset. How much did this cost? This was $90. And that's pretty big. That's a big set. No, I've never heard of Lovely Lindsay either. But then again, I wasn't playing with dolls when I was a kid. I'm not playing with them now either, actually. So yeah, I've never heard of them. And this is Malibu Barbie. I could be wrong, but I don't think any of the Barbies from this era are actually worth much of anything. I could be wrong there, but I think that's correct. All right, so apparently Lindsay and Craig were part of the Barbie extended universe, because this says fashion sets for Lindsay and Barbie, Craig, Ken, and Skipper. So they must have been part of the Barbie universe. I don't know what else to call it. So I guess they're not ripoffs. I remember hearing about Skipper. I know it's a Skipper, but I don't know Craig or Lindsay. Seen this a few times at a few flea markets. The Barbie van. That's $40. And what is this? This is outdoor snack set. Barbie cruise ship. $70. Okay, so you're saying Lindsay was compatible with Barbie, but not actually part of the Barbie universe. It's interesting that they would advertise them together like that. And then just some classic baby dolls. Oh, Cabbage Patch Kids. I think, did Cabbage Patch Kids come out in 82? Was that the year they really went crazy? I think so. Could be wrong, but I think it was 82. So they would have been a year old at this point. And these were $19.99. And I think if I could find an original Cabbage Patch Kid in the original box in like mint condition, I might be interested in buying one just to have it, just for nostalgia purposes. But usually when I see them, they're either not in the box or the box is completely, like, it's in, terrible condition. More dolls. Looks like some generic play sets. That's creepy. This doll in the, what do you call it, bassinet? I don't know the baby term, sorry. But yeah, look at that. Let me see if I can zoom in. That is a creepy looking baby. With like the really black eyes. I don't know. I don't like that. Look at the toy kitchen sets. I like that one. It's got a little, excuse me, it's got a little telephone. Yeah, those are kind of cool. How much did those cost? Let's see. Oh, that's not a lot. $40 for that one. This one was $80. And this one was only $30. Now these are really fancy. I've never seen ones that look this realistic. These look like actual real appliances, but much smaller. And they're not expensive. These are $35 each. Yeah, they're all about $35. Looks like toy kitchen, I guess appliances of some sort, like mixers and blenders. Yeah, it's really funny. I keep saying, you know, whether I've seen these at flea markets or not. And there's a lot of things in here I have never seen at a flea market. And I'm just wondering why. Because I've been to, as you know, quite a few flea markets. And to have never seen a lot of these things is kind of surprising to me. Like this is really cool. This little Pepsi machine of some sort, like a dispenser. And I think I had something like this. I think it was a Snoopy snow cone machine. And then this is the Barbie Gourmet Kitchen. $55. Which again, I guess in modern money, that's like what, $200, something like that. And here's My Little Pony. I think my aunt, one of my aunts was into My Little Pony back at that point. They're $5 each, it looks like. And this is a talking toothbrush center. Looks like just a generic bear on it, though. Buddy Bear. Buddy Bear talking toothbrush set. $9.99. Just some kids' furniture, not too exciting. Dollhouses. $45 for this dollhouse. Toy sewing machines. And they're Sears branded. see what that cost. That was $29, it looks like. I think Teddy Ruxpin was 1985. Yeah, I'm pretty sure 85. So yeah, no Teddy Ruxpin. Yes, I had this Fisher-Price cassette, and I actually found one at Goodwill maybe last year for $12, which I picked up. I think I displayed it in my collections video, but this was $42 back then. And these are kind of cool. It's hard to see. These little records here, they got looks like Star Wars. It's so small, I can barely read it looking at it right in front of my face. It's like Star Wars. Looks like Rudolph. Jeez, I can't even. Oh my God, I need glasses. I can't read that. Oh, this might be Raiders of the Lost Ark. I can't read it. Yeah, no go. I can't read that. And there's a lot of other ones here too. I'm seeing Dumbo, Davy Crockett, Bambi. Yeah, the rest of them, my vision is going here. I think this was a carrying case for records. I think. What is it? Let's see. 21 Disco Mickey Mouse set. 45 RPM vinyl covered hardboard record case. Yeah, so this was for 45 RPM records. And I think by 83, wasn't disco pretty much out? I think so. So that probably was not too popular at that point. Some musical instruments. Was Mickey's Disco actually like a musical band or something? Like they actually Mickey played disco music? I've never heard that. And more instruments. Okay, He-Man's got to be in here somewhere, right? Because I think for the toys, I think He-Man and G.I. Joe both came out, like the smaller G.I. Joes came out in 82. So they should be in here. Wow, that is a big walkie-talkie. It's enormous, actually, unless the kid's hand is ridiculously small. Yeah, 1999 for that walkie-talkie. Well, I've definitely seen these showing phono viewers. I've never found a working one, though. $60 for that. Oh, these are cool. These are the Visible Man, Invisible Woman kits. I actually found one, which I think is from the 60s, at a flea market recently, and I bought it. You'll see the video at some point this winter. Not sure when. But yeah, this one obviously is 83, but the one I had the one I bought is much older, and it was only $10.99 at the time. I always thought those were cool. Rock tumblers, little tool sets for kids. Oh, wood burning set. I think I had a wood burning set almost identical to that. That box looks very familiar to me. And it was a lot of fun, but I could see that being very dangerous. Especially for kids. But not my problem. Oh my God. Unicycles. 20-inch unicycles, $45. And pogo sticks. And stilts. Oh, what did they call these? Didn't I see these earlier? Are they bop bags? Is that what they called them? Let's see, 2, 3. Yeah, bop, B-O-P bags, bop bags. They would have like a bag of sand in the bottom, and you'd hit them, and they would just come back up. Got a G.I. Joe one and a Fred Flintstone, only $5 each. And a Rocky one over here for $7. Mr. T. So that was what, Rocky... Is that Rocky 3? Where Mr. T was in it? Some inner tubes. Oh, so these are the Disney page, or this is the Disney page. Disney roller skates, Disney tent. Disney baseball glove. Disney tennis balls. Wow. They could put their name on anything. All right, now I do not remember these. These are penny racers. So how did that work? Looks like he put a penny in here and somehow, I don't know what it did. Yeah, I never had penny racers. All right, we got like not too many pages left, so we're almost done here. We're getting there at least. And let's see, these are not Matchbox cars. It just says Roadmates. So I guess just a knockoff Matchbox or Hot Wheel. And then, now these are actual Matchbox cars. So Matchbox 8-car set. This was $9. 20-car set. Excuse me. Oh, man. $25 for that. And now this is Roadmates. This is not Matchbox. Yeah, I've never heard of Roadmates. And usually, like 99% of the time at flea markets, it's either Matchbox or Hot Wheels. As far as I know, I've never seen any that were clearly labeled as Roadmates. Oh, no, this is cool. I would want this. This is a, I guess it's Roadmates. It's a Roadmates service center, but it's got Sears branding on it. It says Sears Service Center. Pretty much anything that has Sears on it, I would probably want to buy it. You know, anything with a retro company name on it. Pretty neat. And how much was that? Let's see. That cost $8.99. That would be much more expensive today if you were to find it for sale. This is more Roadmates. That's weird. How have I never heard of Roadmates before? And these ones are Matchbox, it looks like. Okay, now these are Hot Wheels. I was always more of a Matchbox guy than a Hot Wheels guy. Matchbox always felt higher quality to me than Hot Wheels. Muscle machines. It sounds familiar to me, but I can't think of what those are. I remember Micro Machines and Muscle Men, those little pink figures. But I don't remember Muscle Machines. Oh, and here's Tonka. You see these all the time at flea markets. And usually older ones in this, but people, I mean, they might be worth a lot, but people are usually asking quite a bit for these old Tonka trucks. This one is $19.99, $17.99, $13.99. Huh, these are interesting. These are branded Wrangler. And to me, Wrangler is a brand of jeans. Or it's a clothing company. So to see toys named after a clothing company is weird to me. I'm pretty sure that's the same Wrangler too. That's the Wrangler logo that's on the pair of jeans I have. And that almost looks like the helicopter from Magnum PI, the one TC had. I think TC's was it a black helicopter? But I remember it had either yellow or orange highlights on it. Oh, here's some radio-controlled cars. These were $24.99, $24.99, and this one was $59.99. Oh no, this would be cool back then. This Firebird Trans Am. I was talking about the color of TC's chopper. Yeah, this is a remote control Firebird Trans Am. Looks like Knight Rider, which at the time, like 82, 83, this would have been really popular, I'll bet. And that was only $19.99. Okay, radio-controlled airplanes. I never had a radio-controlled airplane. Oh, those are expensive, though. This one is $430. $330. Yeah, not cheap. Oh, HO scale train sets. I had an HO scale train set when I was a kid. Me and my brother shared it actually, down in the basement. And yeah, we had Lionel and what was the other brand? Can't remember. I think it had a K in it. K-Line? I don't know. Why am I not remembering that? But we had, trains like this. And these, I remember the engines were pretty expensive. This one is $150, or maybe the whole set is $150. But back then, that was expensive. Yes, I will be doing a Menlo Park video at some point this winter or fall, one or the other. It's just waiting its turn in line. Tyco slot racers. I know I had one of these because I had the box for it for the long time, and I don't know what happened to it. Maybe 20 years ago it got thrown out. These were $75, $50. I think the one I had, the slot racer I had, was glow in the dark. There was something about it that was glow in the dark. Don't remember what, though. All right, got G.I. Joe walkie-talkies. G.I. Joe wood-burning set. Oh, now these cups and cereal bowls, I have a few of those. These actually can go for quite a bit of money now, depending on where you find them. I think I found some cheap for like $5 a piece, but a lot of times you'll see these going for, sometimes people are asking $20, $30 a pop, which I think is too expensive, but yeah, they are very collectible. Oh, G.I. Joe section. All right, so G.I. Joe came out in 82, or again, the modern version of G.I. Joe, the small figures, not the big doll size figures from the 60s. And yeah, these look like very early G.I. Joe to me because I think the later G.I. Joe vehicles and figures got much more colorful than this because these look all very kind of bland to me. And I had a G.I. Joe F-14, but I don't think it was this one. This doesn't look right. I had a later version of the F-14. I forget what it was called, like Sky Striker or something. I really don't remember. I was honestly never really into G.I. Joe too much. I was more Transformers and He-Man. But I definitely did have the F-14, and it did not look like that. I remember these Cobra tanks. And then this is a Sears exclusive Cobra Command Headquarters, only $11.99. And how much did this cost? Yeah, okay, Jet Sky Striker, $17.99. So I knew it was called Sky Striker, excuse me, but it didn't look like that. I don't think it did. Oh, that's nice. Sounds like somebody's shooting off weapons outside my window right now. What the heck is going on? Can you hear that on the camera? Jeez. I don't know what's going on outside. Yeah, you can hear it. Hopefully those were fireworks and not somebody shooting a gun. Jeez. Yeah, it's Cobra. That's okay. G.I. Joe will be there. How's the song go? Whenever something strikes, G.I. Joe is there. Yeah, I always thought oh my God, it's a Cobra helicopter, right? G.I. Joe's had Cobra helicopters, which is kind of ironic. Yeah, I don't know if it's fireworks or guns. I'm hoping fireworks. Oh, here we go. Finally got to the Masters of the Universe. And they don't have a lot of space in here. You know, Snoopy and Garfield and the Smurfs got, what, 5 pages each? And Masters of the Universe, arguably one of the most popular toys of the time, just gets this little section here. So we got Castle Grayskull, which is, how much is that? Oh, there it is. No, I'm not finding it. What's going on here? Are they number 6? Okay, Castle Grayskull, only $24.99. I thought that was more expensive back then. Then He-Man. All right, so number 1 is, oh, this is Castle Zendo? That's not Masters of the Universe. I don't know what that is. What is that? And it looks like the Masters of the Universe figures are $7.99 each. This is Attack Tank. That's $16.99. 8. This is Point Dread and the Talon Fighter. That's $14.99. Then we got, no, actually, I'm sorry. The He-Man they're $9.99. The actual figures. Then down here, Skeletor helmet, $9.99. Yeah, I really want to find. Excuse me, I really want to find a complete Castle Grayskull, but usually when I find them, they're missing all of this interior stuff. And there was a lot of stuff in there, which, it makes sense that that would get lost. But I don't think I've ever seen one that was complete. And then this is saying Manglore Mountain, volcano lava pit. Home of Manglord. I don't remember Manglord. Yeah, and then these are Crystar, Crystal Dragon, and Warrior. Crystar sounds familiar to me, but I don't think I ever played with them as a kid. All right, moving on. Looks like stamps and baseball cards. Sears Collector Corner. No, the fireworks stopped, or hopefully they were fireworks. Pool tables. I don't know, what are those? Rebound pool tables, apparently. Oh, a little mini pinball machine. NASA American Adventure Pinball, $80. Some board games here. Chutes and Ladders. I had that. Don't remember how to play it, but I definitely had Chutes and Ladders. None of the, oh, I had this. What was this called? Ice Trap or something? Don't break the ice. You'd have to like knock these little cubes out without destroying the whole thing. Connect 4. Candyland. That was my favorite as a little kid. Perfection, I remember that. That would be you'd set the timer, you'd push down the board, set the timer, and if you didn't get all the pieces out in time, I think it would explode and shoot all the pieces up in the air. More board games. I would like to buy some of these if I ever find some. Q*bert board game, Miss Pac-Man, Donkey Kong Pac-Man, Zaxxon. Zaxxon, I would love Zaxxon. That was one of my favorite my favorite games as a kid. Oh, the fireworks are going again. Or whatever they are. Yeah, I've never seen that Q*bert game before. I see these a lot, these Milton Bradley ones like the Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man. Don't think I've seen Donkey Kong, though. I did get a Voltron one once, though. That was a good find. And I think this is before Voltron. So I'm not seeing any Voltron in here. I remember that was real popular, but I think Voltron didn't come out in the US until I think it was 85 actually. Yeah, Battlezone, the tank game, in the arcade, that was one of my favorite games, where you look through the scope, or the periscope, whatever it was. That was really fun. Some board games. Oh, this is cool. Starfleet Battle. So this is a Star Trek game. I would collect it just for the little starship pieces. More board games. Another Star Trek one. Star Trek role-playing game. Chess sets. Blackstone the Magician. I remember I got some sort of magic set in the 80s that was a Blackstone set. I don't know if he was any good or not, but he was pretty popular, I think, when it came to licensing his name. What's the game on the right of the left page? Right of the left page. Which page are you talking about? Right of the left page. Well, in case you're talking about this, that is Dark Riders game. This is Starfleet Battles adventure game. Star Frontiers, Dungeons and Dragons, Crossbows and Catapults. Oh, here we finally got to the handheld video games. These are the Coleco ones, which are very popular nowadays and very expensive. I had this one. I had the regular Pac-Man. Excuse me. I had the regular Pac-Man. I think somebody I knew had the Ms. Pac-Man. These cost, yeah, back then they were $45 a piece. Nowadays, in good condition, you're probably going to see them going for around $100, roughly, give or take. Yeah, I would love to have a complete set of these. And that Zaxxon one that was at the very beginning. I don't know if you were here when we first went live. They had this one here. This Zaxxon one. This is one I really want to get. But the last time I saw it for sale, I think it was selling for like $200. Oh, and then we've got the cheapo Tiger handhelds back here, which I think most people don't like those. I kind of like them just for nostalgia, but actually, like playing them, they're not any good. They are terrible, actually. And yeah, this I definitely remember something like this driving game here, where you would move the steering wheel and the little car here would move back and forth in the screen. And it wasn't a video game. It was like actually like a physical thing with lights behind it. That was really cool. That cost $24, $24.99. Oh, I had this exact one here. This is what was the brand on this? I think it's Tomy, Tomy. I had this, the red one here, which was actually a tank game. And it was really cool. I don't know how to describe it. It was kind of like vector graphics, but not exactly. And I don't know what happened to that. I might still have it in a box somewhere, but I don't know. Yeah, and these are real expensive if you find these for sale. They're probably going to ask at least $100 for them. Yeah, is that a Game & Watch? It looks like it, but isn't Game & Watch by Nintendo? And that does not appear to be a Nintendo. It says, escape the watchful guards, a real test of reflexes. It just says, new at Sears Handheld Games. So this might have been a Nintendo Game & Watch knockoff. Yeah, it was kind of like the Virtual Boy, the Tomy ones. Except I think it had more than one color. I don't think it was all red. I think there might have been like 2 or 3 colors. But it was really cool. Yeah, sorry about the text. It's very small. I mean, even in person, me looking at it, it's very small. And the only way to get it real close would be like me to hold it literally like 3 inches away from my camera lens on the cell phone. And it's not really doable for long periods. But here's a Atari 2600. And this one's all black. I think they call that the Darth Vader edition nowadays, because it is all black. It doesn't have the wood grain. Excuse me. And then here's the Atari games. These were all mostly, it looks like $29.99 to $35.99, which today that would be a pretty darn expensive video game. But we've got, let's say, Kangaroo, Cubert, Donkey Kong Jr., Popeye, Mr. Doe, Moonsweeper, Sequest, Return of the Jedi, Reactor, G.I. Joe, Activision Decathlon, Robot Tank, Burger Time, Dolphin. I did have an Atari 2600 as a kid, but to be honest with you, the gameplay on those Atari games is, I don't think they've held up at all. They're so simple that, I don't know, I have trouble enjoying them, to be honest with you. I like them for nostalgia purposes, but actually playing them, I don't know, I probably couldn't play more than like 5 minutes at a time on any of those games. And then here's a ColecoVision, or this is actually a Coleco Gemini. I am not familiar with the Gemini. But that looks like it had slightly better graphics than the excuse me, than the Atari 2600. I would love to get some of these old joysticks, though. Yeah, and if you're into video games, arcade games, I do have a video on the Fun Spot coming up shortly. I'm actually working on it now. It's almost done. I just have to get rid of some of it's got some problems with copyrighted music getting flagged. So I am trying to edit it so that it doesn't get a copyright claim. But that should be up within the next week or so. And if you're not aware of what Fun Spot is, it's, I would argue, the best classic arcade, at least in the Northeast of the U.S. It's pretty darn awesome if you're into video games. Yeah, these are all Atari 2600 and Gemini. That is weird. I like to think of myself as fairly knowledgeable on video games, and I have never heard of Gemini before. Because I've got a lot of like emulators. I play a lot of games on emulators, and I've never run past Gemini before. Interesting. And these are mostly all 2600 games, I think. Yeah, and they're all about roughly $30 seems to be the most common price on these. Okay, then these are Sears Telegames. I think, isn't Sears Telegames just a Sears rebranding of the Atari 2600? I think so. I could be wrong, but I think that's what it is. These are only $15.99. So these games are cheaper than the others that I was looking at before. Lots and lots of video games. And I think, wasn't 1983 was when they had the video game crash, where home video games became much less popular. And I don't think they recovered until, what, like 85 when the NES came out? Oh, no, that's cool. I would love to get one of these Vectrex. Because these aren't really like any other video game system out there. I think these are vector graphics, right? That's why it's called the Vectrex. These games are they're about the same price, $32 to $37.99. And it looks like, yeah, so this one was on sale. It was originally $199 and it's on sale for $99. I would pay for that. An Odyssey 2. I've seen the Odyssey 2 for sale at a lot of flea markets. I've never bought one, though. Someday. Yeah, you're saying the market was flooded with bad games. I agree, because the quality of like a Atari 2600 game versus an NES or even a Sega Master System game was such a big difference. Like the NES and Master System games were so much better than these old Atari games, for the most part. And then we got an Intellivision, which I think one of my friends had an Intellivision. I remember going over to his house, and I remember seeing these weird controllers that have like the numpad. And that was, yeah, that was $99 for the Intellivision. And more games for sale, Intellivision games. And the Intellivision games were, looks like they were less expensive. Well, some of them were $39, but then they're on sale for $19.99. So yeah, half price. So they were trying to get rid of these Intellivision games. Must not have been selling too well. Yeah, have you played an Atari today? Yeah, after 1983, probably no. Then the Atari 5200, which I've never played the 5200. From what I understand, obviously the graphics were a little bit better than the 2600, but I don't think people liked it. Again, it has these weird controllers with the numpad. Yeah, it looks like the most expensive video games back then were $39.99. Wow, more video games. Atari 5200. Got Defender, Missile Command, Galaxian, Space Invaders, Pac-Man. A lot of these are $31.99. And then the ColecoVision. Got Venture, Donkey Kong Jr., Mousetrap, New Cubert. Wonder if that's a different game. New Cubert. Then New Omega Race, Space Panic, Cosmic Avenger, Carnival, Zaxxon. And these were mostly $34.99. Yeah, they're pretty much all $34.99. ColecoVision. And we are pretty much done here. So this is the last page. This is the back cover page. And it's a ColecoVision with an Atari 2600 adapter module. I didn't know such a thing existed. How about that? And then there's the back cover for a washing machine. All right. Well, I think there you have it. That is pretty much the whole catalog. And I've been streaming for, 2.5 hours. Wow. Time flies when you're having fun, I guess. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed that. I thought that was kind of fun to look through. And pretty much anytime, just so you know, when I'm going to a flea market, I'm looking for this stuff. The stuff I looked at in here, this is pretty much what I'm trying to find for the most part. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed the video, and it should be up tomorrow if you want to watch it again. And I have a Fun Spot video coming out soon, and I'm not sure what the video for the mall is going to be this week, but I'll get that figured out tomorrow. And yeah, there you have it. So again, I hope you all enjoyed that video. If you did, as I usually say, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment, and hit that notification bell. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Now if I can figure out how to end the stream. This will be my first time ever ending a stream. All right, see ya.